All right, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream that's not a live stream. We're recording a YouTube recap. It is the Waco November Swiss 2023. I'm your host, More Chess, Matthew Radiskowski. With me, my good friend Chase Ross.
Hi.
Coach Chase, how's it going, bud?
It's great. Great to finally hear your name pronounced correctly instead of Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski, yeah. So today we are spotlighting a a mainstay in the Waco Chess Club and Texas chess in general, Darryl West,
Indeed. 4
who
0, I
who
think,
had
right?
a great day. Yeah, spoiler alert, he swept the field today.
Solid.
So yeah, just gonna go through round by round, and I don't even think we've seen all of these moves. So this is
Nope.
gonna be unscripted. You're gonna see our unfiltered, terrible, potentially terrible analysis. But it's gonna be fun. So we got round one, and again, this is game in 45, delay 5, 4 rounds. Here we go.
All right. The
And
only
we got,
thing I think you probably helped me with is the ratings. I don't really know all the players' ratings.
yeah, I didn't plug them in.
That's okay.
Daryl is
It's like 1700, right?
17. He's always fluctuating between 17 and 1800. I think he's maybe 17 at the moment. Um, and then Evan, I'm honestly not sure, but I think um, actually, if you want to drive a couple moves here, I'll pull this up just so we can have a better
Sounds good
look.
to me. Well, as intelligent people say, irregardless of the numbers, let's take a look at this game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a Queen's Gambit accepted, which I don't see often. There's so many ways to respond to this, but Mr. West chooses knight to c3. Very solid developing move, preparing to perhaps take the e4 square. And his opponent continues d5, striking back at the center, excuse me, c5, striking back at the d pawn immediately. And, well, very comfortable game so far. Darryl pushes, which is making me uncomfortable, and I'm not even playing it. But we'll see how long this pawn is held on to.
I think that's what I do actually.
When I mean uncomfortable, I mean I'm uncomfortable for black.
Okay.
Yeah, because I played a game like this earlier.
Yeah,
But what do you think
double
about
time.
a6? What do you think about that?
A6, I think, is one of those things that you can play, or I've been playing it a little bit as black, but earlier, right? I mean,
Uh huh.
if you take right off the bat and then play a6, I kind of think it's a wasted move. But I'm not an expert. I think you
Well,
play it
maybe
maybe.
maybe there's a move order thing
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I think I do a decline and then do the a6 and prepare to take. But
Because the interesting thing here is if he plays a6 now, and we have d5, this is a completely different game. But we got this right.
yeah,
A4 preventing b5. Logical, simple chess. I love it. Logical, simple chess. And e6 because e6 has to be played at some point. Good, he got it out of the way. What do you feel here as white? I mean, this is
um,
very
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in this position. I think that, yeah, black's just pawn structure, not ideal. Um, yeah, black doesn't have any pieces out yet. I mean,
sure.
I'm kind of liking white.
I agree. Would this would seem to be an incredible break from the Queen's Gambit declined if it happened in a tournament game, uh, at least for me. But there is sort of the most boring game in history here, where everything just sort of disappears. But I'm really glad we didn't see that. We actually saw a chess game here. So Darryl defends the center with e4. Beautiful, beautiful center here. And nothing but pawn moves from black, but that's kind of how this opening goes sometimes. He takes, queen takes, which is fascinating decision. What do you think your decision would be here?
Um, I mean, seeing it this way, I probably
Yeah.
would have taken with the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, then you've got the isolated pawn. I don't know. The knight or the pawn. I probably wouldn't have led with the queen, but I see his idea, right? It's, if his queen takes, then you can jump in with the knight and you're threatening, the fork on c7, and so I kind of see where he's coming from with that.
Yeah, it's really dealer's choice. When I see this position, I mean, taking with the pawn, I notice this is gone,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going to happen, and this is open. So that makes me very happy. I'm a very simple man. I play simple chess, and these things make me happy. But
Mm-hmm.
queen takes d5, kind of asks for the trade, and he brings the knight out before the trade. But it looks like Darryl was really going for that end game. So I think he's probably pretty confident in his end game skills. And notice the knight recaptures, so no loss of castling rights. And now black has to develop a piece because everything's back on the eighth.
Evan's like a 1400 something, looks
Okay.
like. But like the whole going to endgame thing, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like that strategy too. Playing some of these, I don't know how old Evan is, but some of these
Sure.
younger players going to an endgame where, yeah, you just need more experience, right? Less opening theory. I kind of get that
Totally.
strategy too.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at this, if I'm looking at these pawns, I see 2 versus 3, and I see 4 versus 3. And I'm fine with that. We got more center. It's going to be kind of annoying to get this in because of all the pressure on that square, but it's not it's not bad. Really, anything can happen. I mean, we could just immediately go for tactics here with the knight, but well, black to move, and knight e7 just straight up prevents that. Um, Probably had that in mind. But let's see how Darryl continues here. We'll go a little quicker. Knight g to e2, offering a trade of bishops. Bishop trade declined.
Gotta take.
Knight trade, though, accepted. That's fine.
Takes with the pawn.
Bishop f5, knight g3, hitting the bishop. Carol Khan flashbacks. More Carol Khan flashbacks. It'd be even worse of a flashback if we had h4. But no h4. Solid chess today. Bishop d6, blockading that pawn, which is isolated, but it's a passed pawn. It's very nice passed pawn. But he blockades the passed pawn. Check. Unfortunately, king's got to move, but now that the queens are off the board, not really a big deal, I don't think. Kind of a good centralized square for that king. Where would you take this as white here?
um, I'm honestly not sure. I want to get my bishop out. Just simply bring
Yeah.
it out a square, right? Maybe zigzag it to c3 or something.
Not a bad idea.
But yeah, I mean, I'd like to maybe double the rooks ideally. I have a feeling black's gonna bring the rook, though.
I think
That black knight's kind of stuck back there right now, so that's kind of nice. They can't connect the rooks just yet.
definitely. I think
Um,
f6 has got to be played no matter what white plays, just to make room for the knight.
Yeah, I'd probably
Um,
just try to connect the rooks, just try to double.
I'd like to eliminate a bishop pair if I could, but no clear way to do that. I mean, we could do this, but that would be bad because of terrible, terrible tactics. Yeah,
Hmm.
and this actually is a game losing lizard brain move if you try to grab the bishop because of the pin.
Yeah,
There's no
I
way to
mean, you
defend
protect
this,
with the pawn, and then F5
and then you get
happens. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a mistake that could absolutely happen. Just trying to grab a pawn, or excuse me, grab a bishop. Bishop d2, as you said, maybe we're going to c3. Maybe we're just defending our rook. Maybe we're just developing. It's probably, at the end of the day, not that deep. Uh, Probably just developing. f6, I'd consider that forced, just in terms of getting our pieces to actually move.
Yeah.
f4, very interesting. Perhaps preparing f5. And all of a sudden, bishop's a little sad. But let's see what he has in store. b6, logical. Now he's got two options. Maybe he doesn't want to go here in case h5 comes. Well, no, not h5. That would just be just a simple f5. Now that I'm looking at it, but anyways, knight e4. So it doesn't work here. Rook e8 doesn't work here because we're actually defended. So very important game winning, game saving distinction. Knight e4, knight f7. Knight takes, grabbing the bishop pair, saving the bishop pair with a very conservative bishop f1. What do you think? How are we doing?
I don't know. I'm starting to get nervous about, our isolated pawn that's a passer but just blockaded, just gonna be
Agreed.
the target.
Yeah, how
Um,
to make progress? How
how
to
do
make
we
progress?
defend that pawn? I mean, I feel like that pawn's gonna just die, right?
I think we have to defend it with counterplay. We'll see what Darryl has in mind here, or we just let it go.
Oh,
Let's see
but doesn't
why.
take?
Let's see why not. Is there something I'm missing? There's a forcing move, but does it do
Wait, so in
much?
the game he didn't take, right?
No, he didn't. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would have taken on the spot. Maybe he thought there was some secret plan. I don't know. Um,
Huh.
G3 is solid though. I mean, just defend everything. And in fact, after rook h8, we have bishop to h3. And now c6 is not available, so king c7 happens. So we have a nice kind of blocked up position here.
Okay.
Takes. I don't know.
I would have taken maybe with the rook.
Pawn takes.
No, I wouldn't have. Bad Matt.
Perhaps not.
Bad Matt.
uh, Perhaps not, Mike Wazowski. That's okay.
Hmm.
Takes. It's very even. Very even. But this is going to come down to experience, probably. H5. And Darryl finds the excellent A5. So this can't be taken. Just kind of weakens everything. The rook becomes too active. The bishop becomes too active. So knight c4. Well, what's the downside to this? It looks like it's forking. But what's the critical missing element here? do you think?
You can take with check, right?
That's it. Forcing moves. Simple. And after the king takes, we've just accomplished what we want, which is breaking up that chain into 2 islands. And now we can move this if we'd like, which we do gladly. Now we're paralyzing these guys. So all of a sudden, Mr. West has created 2 pawn islands and paralyzed the third. And it's looking good. He's got this pawn here. If he can get his rooks mobilized on the 7th, we're going to have fireworks. Rook d8. b3. Excellent. So, where does this knight go?
It's got to go back.
Where does this knight go? What does this allow? So what Darryl's done is he probably spotted a tactic that couldn't work, and he said, well, how do I make it work? So one thing you can do is look at your ideal position in your mind, say, well, how on earth am I going to get there? Well, in this case, it's just a simple tactical sequence. We remove the defender of this square here. And now, now if we retreat, this is a game-winning tactic.
Yeah, and the computer's way out there was bringing the rook down. The counterplay there.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, let's see. So,
yeah, just
rook d3, counterplay.
Yeah.
What to do? Well, I think Darryl found the right decision here. He grabbed as much material as humanly possible.
Yep.
Takes on f6. Excellent. Are there any other options, though? Not really. What do you think? We take the knight. I mean, that's just more equal than we'd like it to be. So it's got to be bishop takes f6. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Knight tries to save itself, and we grab another pawn. The astute among you may notice there's a fork. However, material is now even, oddly enough.
But yeah. Darryl was just fine with that.
The key being that at the end of that, the knight falls as well. We've got these juicy passers, connected passers. We've got a bishop and we've got a rook. This is more than enough material to win, I think. So let's see how it continues. We don't have that much of a game left. Not many moves, that is. So king c7 just begs for f5. Well, what do? You prevent f5. So when looking for candidate moves in this position, I would understand wanting to get the king involved. But given our advantage with the 2 rooks, we've got to prevent our opponent's plan. Be a stick in the mud as much as possible. However, f5. King d6, continuing to bring the king in. And h3, preparing to make more connected passers. Now rook d5, but he's already on f5. So g4 is natural, very natural. Takes. This is devastating. I would resign and go eat a sandwich. But that's just my style. I'm a guy that likes his sandwiches. Anyways, a5 because we have to move something. And I've been there, man. It's okay. There's no shame. e7. Check. King up. Check. King up. It's getting dark. Too dark to see, right? And and this is just devastating. We have coverage of the square twice. We got backup for days. It's going to be rough. It's a simple march, and that just about does it there. One final attempt here, and after takes, f7, natural. We're gonna get a queen, and life's good.
We get ours with check.
Queen with check. Twice. And that's just rude.
I mean, yeah, Evan didn't play that bad though. I mean, 1400.
No, not at
I mean,
all.
played well above 1400 level in my mind.
No, it's not that kind of show. We're not talking like that, but
No, and
just
I did want to just make a comment about there was some chatter about, oh, Logan's just, getting points from this group, whatever, this easy tournament stuff. No. Like these people that are playing in this club are really good and a lot of them are underrated. And if anything, I feel like playing in this tournament is more difficult than playing in a bigger tournament where you get a bigger mix of people. There's all kinds of people 13, 14, 1500 who should probably be 1900, but we're all playing each other there. So if anything, I would say Logan is losing rating points by playing in this group. So just wonder if those little comments.
Historically speaking, that's been the case when I take a look at the cross tables. But I think it's a pretty good game. Do you want to take a look at the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
Aditya?
So round 2.
Just want to flip for black here?
Yeah.
Since we're highlight, or no, is it Darryl's got white?
Darryl's got black.
Darryl's got black. Okay.
Do we want to do it from black's point of view or from white?
I think from black, since we're shining the flashlight on Mr. West here.
All right. Round 2
we got to get someone named East in there to beat him.
And I think maybe his short name is Addy. I played him 3 times. First round in a Waco tournament. I think 3 tournaments in a row. He's rated like 1300 or something. Excellent player. Excellent player. He got through Tanish in round 1 to get here to round 2 to play Darryl. I've gotten 3 draws against Addy. He probably could have beaten me a couple games too. Just a great. I mean, 1300. No way. He's underrated. So or 1400, whatever he is now. But just he'll be 1900. Next month or something. How it goes.
I dig it.
All right. So what do we got? We've got E4. Darryl. Ooh, what is this opening?
French, yeah. Franco-Sicilian, whatever you want to call it. Well, we've just transposed, but it was a French, and now we're south to a lovely spicy island, Sicilian. And have you seen this bishop c4 a lot against Sicilians?
I have not.
It does not do well.
Well, I mean, it's just
Not do well.
I mean, I've gotten the anti-Sicilian, the bishop b5 a lot.
Sure.
Chopping down the knight and doubling the pawns and all that, which is really annoying. I used to play a lot of Sicilian, but not anymore.
What I see a lot of with my students, a lot of them will play this naturally, and of course I teach people all skill levels, but the people that are newer to chess will play this because they remember the Italian, and they'll end up getting a6, b5, and they'll come back here, and then they'll get trapped on c4. I even seen some of my higher rated students fall into that, especially in quicker games. But I think black just gets a lot of ways to kick this around. So
yeah,
but let's continue.
Yeah, I see people do that to me in the Caro too, and I don't really understand
hillbilly,
it.
Yeah, it's called the hillbilly. I guess there's a reason people play it. I'll never understand why.
I don't understand it. Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
Very interesting. So Grand Prix style. I
So
dig
yeah,
it.
just
I dig
allowing
it.
queen h4 if you want.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I mean,
It just yeah, I mean you basically move it out just to provoke that and then move it back or something, right?
go piece of candy. Okay, but I love the Grand Prix, and the way I learned it is by learning the reverse Grand Prix first, um, like driving backwards first. But White can get a really nice king side attack in this, and Black has to survive, sort of gum up the works and trade down and win on the better pawn structure. But let's see how it continues. Please, after you.
All right, so we
D6,
get d6.
conservative.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Preventing,
maybe not planning
preventing.
on. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to discourage the e5 push
Yeah,
is the
not
point.
planning on fianchettoing whatsoever. That's for sure.
Yeah, so simple development, bringing the knight out. Darryl bringing his knight out makes sense. And then we get kind of a mirrored,
That's solid.
solid structure. Simple development, castles, and now a6. Okay.
We need that a pawn to move. We need that a pawn to move.
Yeah, do explain.
Well, he's just going to get too much. He's just going to get tempo on the bishop. So he actually does play
Oh, I thought you
a4.
meant yeah. You were saying from White's perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. So from White's perspective, we need that pawn to move to prevent just bullying this, bullying this poor piece here.
Yeah. I thought you
If we're
said we
not,
needed Darryl to do that, and I didn't understand why. But yeah, I see Darryl's idea though. Yeah.
I do like bullying this bishop as
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
and there's no c4 here, but you do have something like d5, and this is already pretty beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just gorgeous.
Lots of space.
It's just beautiful. Let's go back, please. After you, give me that bishop.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I mean, Bishop's just gonna go back, right?
Oh yeah, natural. Fascinating. I definitely would have thought the bishop would find a home on b7 in this kind of a line here.
Mm-hmm. Just because the diagonal is gonna be opened up,
Sure.
most likely.
And what do you do against d5 here?
Um,
Because that's a little uncomfortable.
you mean e5?
e5 by white here.
Yeah, e5 by white. I mean, ay, ay,
Not to toot my own horn, but this is usually my plan in my reverse Grand Prix, except flipped, to dislodge this knight. Uh, so I mean, this is not fun.
yeah. I struggled with this problem a lot when I was playing
This
Sicilians
is not fun.
back in my early days. I've been playing Carlos so long, I've forgotten all the plans now.
Not a deal breaker, but it's you know it's a pawn. Queen e1 though, rerouting to the dark squares, classic Grand Prix stuff.
Darryl Knight
Knight
back
back.
now. Yeah,
Makes sense to me, man. Wasn't doing much on a5, but
yeah.
it's all good.
Still no e5.
Probably just overly cautious, not wanting to overextend, because it is a very nice structure. But when you have moves like e5, I mean, you got to take that in this position.
So Adi, very very drawish player. He plays really
Is he?
solid.
Okay.
I've
Hey,
gotten draws against him 3 games. So just very hard to break through.
as a drawish player
So
myself,
I kind of
I respect.
I kind of reminded myself now that it is
I
obvious.
don't
So
draw. I doodle.
doodle, yeah.
I'm a doodle-ish player, and that's the problem. Um, than on a t-shirt.
Still no castles. Interesting. Just pushing queenside, trying
Give
to
me that space.
expand. Yeah, takes and takes and just sacking the pawn. Darryl just sacking the pawn
For activity, I suppose.
for activity. Engine likes
Knight
it.
b4 is strong here if we go back.
Go back.
And by strong, I mean you can grab
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
grab that bishop.
Uh-huh.
But how do you stop? How do you stop both those threats? It's not very intuitive. Um, you have to disrupt. You have to disrupt the two.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, the two pieces working together and go back here.
Right, knight back, yeah.
Bend and block. It's kind of a tough move to see, and we don't like our knight there, so
Yeah,
that would have been interesting.
yeah, it's like the more space right between those pieces, the more chance you have to cut it off. And I've been trying to train my brain to think that way because it's a good resource. You know, you forget sometimes you can cut the circulation and get out of some jams sometimes.
Castles is good though.
Yeah.
Knight back. Well, all right. And this move's begging to be played here. It's a very active move. Queen b6.
Yeah.
Just
Makes sense.
success, man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I just sacked the pawn and now I have the two, A and B files open.
it's very nice. What do you think? Now it would be great if White just ignored that here and started to attack. In my opinion, start to
Yep.
push those pawns to the king side,
Yeah,
perhaps,
E5.
or e5. In
Yeah.
this position, I think.
Well, yeah, you
I
kind
think we
of,
have this now.
yeah.
With some counterplay, and suppose we could take, live to fight another day, and this is not actually recommended. I think you're probably going to get
Yeah,
a lot of activity here.
yeah, it's not fun.
Anyways, Queen c1, very conservative, makes a lot of sense to me. But we spent that time moving to e1, so we could come over here and crush the king side. So kind of sad for the queen. Go back to desk duty.
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry. Did you move there?
My bad. Knight g4. Makes sense. We just went over that and grabbed the bishop. And now we're actually threatening to deflect the queen that just moved to c1. So white's smart, plays rook to e1. However, we're allowing black a lot of initiative here. Finally, we see knight b4, which has been an option in this for the last couple moves. What do you do here as white? Well, no more knight a3. So you need to find a way around this. Now this is defended. But he can grab that bishop, which is what he wants. We see h3, kicking the knight. And unfortunately, I think this just sort of plays into our opponent's hand. Since we wanted to take this anyways, we're kind of just giving him a free move.
Yeah. Wasted move.
And if queen takes, we have the fork of ages. Come one, come all. See the multicolored fork. So rook takes. And now finally, Darryl gets his bishop. Darryl's a happy man. However,
We missed it.
there was something else here.
Yep. Doubling up the rooks, maybe?
I think so, because we've got a nice amount of pressure on this piece here. Rook a6, and this is gross. We're gonna get all our pieces in. The queen defends again, and we double anyways, right? What now? Rook back. Alekine's machine gun. We've got tons of pressure here, but I think practically speaking, just getting rid of the bishop pair.
It still feels good. Yeah, it
feels good, man. Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. Rook takes, and we're liquidating, which is fine if you're okay with that. It is important to note, though, Darryl's down a pawn. But with the bishop pair, I would almost consider that to be compensation, especially as the game opens up. And now we're making plans to just grab that pawn. And the Grand Prix, which is sort of an attacking weapon for white, was very defensive in this instance. And I think Darryl did a really good job of picking his moment, sort of lashing out. And it all started with that pawn sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Defend that pawn. We got it, right? Queen a5. Very nice move. Rerouting the queen, hitting the knight, hitting all the light squares. Now the queen has to do desk duty. So, d5. Here come the pawns. Rook e2. c4. Here come the pawns. This bishop now breathes. Knight e5. Lovely pin. Begging to be played. Begging to be played. How to continue. d4, saying, well, I don't like your pin, go away. Bishop takes. Very interesting idea. I wonder what he was considering here. Excuse me. We see takes. Surprise. And natural moves. Simple chess. Bishop c6. Now this is lovely. This is very nice. Bishop d5, just watching everything. This knight is out of the game. It's out of the game. It's got to get back in. So knight c1. Understandable. And rather forcing c3. Uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So where does the queen go? Don't have very many options. We offer the trade. Do you take this trade? Why or why not? What do you think? Do you take this trade? I wouldn't, but I want to hear why you would or would not.
So one thing that's tempting about taking is after taking going rook a8, forcing the knight to move. If the knight goes back, you're pinning the knight to the king.
Capture c3.
Okay, never mind. That pawn's hanging, yeah.
I think it's just very simple. We should.
I mean, so if you have the initiative, right, you don't want to trade.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just. I don't like trading queens. If I have ideas, and I think, I mean, the white queen is doing nothing, right? It's just sitting there, blocked in by that pawn. We have the pin. It can just like it's got the A file to roam around, but there's really
Mhm.
just it's just bad. Yeah, the black queen's just yeah.
Kind of on death's duty, right? I think Queen B6 was very natural from Darryl, but even something like Queen B4 doesn't work. But why?
Mm,
Queen A7.
right. Allowing the queen in.
Infiltration. And this is an easy thing to miss because you're
Yeah,
thinking, I'm
yeah,
attacking the pawn. Well, so is Queen B6. So he had to weigh those two probably.
yeah,
Or he
and
didn't weigh it at all. He's just really good. But now this is impossible. Um,
and A4 does not come with tempo on the queen, so
correct.
better.
So
Yeah,
these little things that do it. Um, Rook A8 is just, I mean, if you blindfolded me and spun me around and put me underwater, I'd play Rook A8. That's natural, simple chess. Queen infiltrates anyways, but I don't know if it can do much yet. Yet, and this allows, you know, the pawn to fall. But what else is there? That's the only thing. So
no, I mean, yeah, there's nowhere to go,
too
right?
bad. It's too
Yeah,
bad. Take the pawn with check. King H2. Critical, critical mistake.
fork.
Critical mistake. Dark
Yeah,
squares. Awkward knight breathes its last breath. Got to block with the rook. Doesn't feel good. Excuse me. Doesn't feel good, but after something like this,
yeah, rook back and you're just
we're
gobbling
okay
the pawns. Yeah, it's just it feels really bad. And why is it zeros?
because of this.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
The more you know.
Right, yeah. So,
Knowing is some portion of the conflict. So we can't grab the pawns, unfortunately,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah.
can just repeat. How do you make progress here? How do you make progress?
I mean, let's make some lift for the king, first of all.
Let's try that. You want here or you want here?
No, probably, yeah. Probably 8-6.
6. Okay. This allows the check. Excuse me. And now what? I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Um,
you know what I had my eyes on? If if excuse me, White's not careful, we've got the queen here.
yeah.
Discoveries. But anyways,
Yeah.
simple enough end game to win here. And by end game, I mean that's a fork. Um, and yeah, that'll do it. That's your end game right there. Checkmate. One of the best end games to win. Checkmate. So good game. I mean, I think just very reserved. Uh, reserved play. But Darryl's a killer.
I mean, yeah, very aggressive. Like I've said this in one of my other YouTube videos. My only other YouTube video was like Daryl's just really aggressive. I mean, he'll just throw the kitchen sink at you. I think this has been kind of a reserved Daryl from what my experience has
Sure.
been. But like just giving up that pawn, like no big thing, you know.
The one
Just
game I had against Daryl, I was so intimidated. I sacked a piece for a draw by repetition in a winning
yeah,
position. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's a tough player.
He's
It's tough to play
intimidating.
with him.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
yeah.
Yes, he is. He's a good player, though. Do you want to move on, or do you want to
Yeah,
stop it?
let's get you rounds 3 and 4.
All right.
Let's do
I
round
don't know
three.
if you have to go or not.
Yeah, probably sort of soon, but we can maybe
All right.
blow through round 3 and get to the championship game round 4.
Very good.
So let's check out round 3 real quick. I have the controls here. Da, da, da.
Okay, so this could go a lot of ways. King's Indian, excuse me, Nimzo Indian, or Queen's Indian. But Darryl doesn't want a Nimzo, so he plays A3, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting move order. But okay, perfectly fine. D5, Knight F3, C5, striking the center.
Yeah, this move annoys me. I play it as black and it annoys me when I'm white, so
Certainly. Excuse me. Okay, what to do? Takes the C pawn, bishop takes, B4, active play. Back goes the bishop. C5, trying to create some long-term thorns in black's side here. But A5 just kind of breaks all this up. It's exactly the opposite of that Queen's Gambit kind of move order where you undermine the pawns here. If black tries to play, B5, it's the exact same thing. A5 is possible here, and this is kind of annoying, but doable. We don't get that though. I just like to talk about things that never happened. So B6, going for Queen's Indian by a move order I've never seen. So we have takes, takes. Interesting choice. Taking
that
with the B pawn, or taking with the A pawn
pawn.
rather. Right.
Yeah, the pawn
It's got to be
now.
the queen. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, the pawn now is really a bad pawn there now.
It's got to be the queen. But long-term weakness for sure. But we'll see how it goes. A beautiful bishop on B2, E3. Okay, active. But we're just going to trade off, and we've helped white develop. Open C file, castles. Fairly even game. We've got a weakness here, but by no means a game-ending, earth-shattering weakness. Knight back. What do you think the idea is here?
Um, just an F pawn push is the only thing I can think of because
It's the only thing I can muster as well.
the yeah, that knight's got nowhere to go now. So
Unless we're just defending the pawn, but that's already.
yeah, yeah, it's got to be a push.
But let's find out. Queen A4. Okay, logical. But the queen's getting in here. Darryl doesn't want to trade. This is sort of begging for a rook to the file.
Oh yeah.
And we see Darryl's pieces are very active. Annoying pin though.
Okay.
We saw this kind of a position in
Yeah,
the
we did.
what's his name? Tanish.
Tanish and Daniel. Yeah.
Very similar. Some liquidation and now a pawn push. Very interesting. Obviously,
Yeah, trying to get it takes. Yeah.
piece candy, but
Bishop's pinned.
not in this case. Rook c4 looks
Oh no.
looks like it
That's the same
works,
problem, yeah.
but it doesn't.
It's the
The
same
aforementioned
problem.
pawn is pinned, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, but what's a better try here? This knight's
Um,
misplaced.
I
Let's get it
think
back in the game. Defend this pawn. Well, yeah, e takes not recommended here. Still theory. He's got to move, right?
yeah.
And now
Now you can take the pawn.
now
So
e takes
so
perhaps,
so the
but
pawn push loses a pawn
certainly
if black finds the right moves.
correct, correct. But sometimes we
Right,
make
right, right. Okay, so knight, tempo on the queen, queen goes away, take the pawn. Yeah, but we do this. Darryl says, "Thank you very much. I'll take your rook and I'll take your bishop."
yeah, it happens, man. I mean,
And
that's a
moving the
snatchy
knight,
move
yeah, yeah. Thank you very
because
much. Let me just
hold
sneak
my
the knight in.
beverage.
Threatening a
F6.
fork. And does it anyways, I think.
He doesn't even flinch.
No, yeah, just fine, take my queen.
Also possible here, queen back.
Right, yeah.
But hey,
Just
it's actually this
scary
might be
there
the
for a
best move
second.
here.
Did I miss something? Oh my gosh.
This is the best move because
Right,
now
yeah.
we're just up. We're just
But yeah,
up
it's unraveling now anyways.
for sure.
Um
Oof.
and that, oh my gosh. It
Tactics.
just has everything.
This guy just
Gross.
he just sees everything. Somebody blindfold this man.
Darryl is on fire. If I was a betting man, I think he might win this tournament.
If I was a betting man, I wouldn't have any money. He doesn't even go for the liquidation here. He just
He just, yeah, going after the pin pawn.
queen b2 as well.
Yeah. Okay, now he has to come back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
just
cool, calm, collected.
boom.
Um, not much else to say there. Just one mistake. Um, it happens. I've made those moves. In fact, last time I played in Waco, I made one of those moves, resigned, and drove home. 4 hours. Yeah.
But not after, you did beat me that day, didn't you?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh no, I just straight up hung a knight in a drawn game. Like, the scene from The Water Boy,
Yeah.
uh, Kathy Bates. Ah,
Yeah.
maybe you don't, but look it up. Anyways, let's go to the last game.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, after that very crispy editing job, we have D4 by Darryl, D for Darryl, against the young and incredibly talented Logan Schaefer, who has blood on his hands from all of the Waco tournaments. All the Waco tournaments he's won, made grown men cry, and not grown men cry, and everything in between cry from his chess skills. So here we have D4, knight F6. We're going to see the same sort of setup, alliteration, as the last game here from Darryl. E6, A3 prevents the ever so popular and solid Nimzo Indian. D5, knight F3, and Logan turns this into a Slav defense, semi-Slav defense. E3, defending the center, and we develop towards the center with our knights. Knight BD7, very simple. Bishop E2. The young, principled Logan Schaefer makes Mr. West waste a tempo by taking again with the bishop. B5, kicking the bishop yet again. Okay, bishop D6. Notice now there's room for the other bishop as well. Once this game opens up, these bishops will be fairly tasty, in my opinion. Knight C3, bishop B7, as previously discussed. Nice move, e4, threatening the dangerous e5, forking everything and making the game a lot harder. So, how does black stop e5? Well, you stop e5 by playing e5. Gotta love it. Castles, castles. Remarkably even. We're still in the book here. And Mr. West pushes with d5. cd5, ed5. We've got basically our first imbalance, the IQP here. And notice, it's not really
Pre-pawn.
it's not really recommended to lose that because of I don't know, something I learned about in 6th grade with some Greeks and a gift and Trojan horses, Mesopotamia, whatever. It don't matter. Ethiopians, no, Greeks. I got confused. My bad. Yeah, don't take that pawn. Don't do it. Don't do it. But Darryl was born at night, but not last night. So this pawn lives another day. We have a6 defending. And knight g5. Fairly reasonable move. Perhaps a little committal at this point. But let's see what Mr. West has planned. Logan jumps forward with a knight, attacking the bishop. Darryl likes his bishops, so back goes the bishop. h6, asking the knight, what are you doing? The knight doesn't actually have a very good answer because it goes back to where it was. No, it doesn't. It goes to e4. My bad. We have an exchange.
Okay.
Spicy. And we see an isolated pawn. Each side has the bishop pair. Where do we go from here? Well, if this were me with white and I was playing Logan, I would take a sip of water and offer a draw 6 times in 6 different languages in case he doesn't understand. But I'm sure he wouldn't accept it because f5.
Yeah.
Lots of play left in this position.
Oof.
Begging to be played. Beautiful. And these pawns are going to be marching. Nasty. Brutal. Back to c2 with you, I say. Bishop c7. And this sort of, remarkably so, reinvigorates white's position. Because now we have all sorts of threats. And when you give Darryl the ability to make a threat, you best believe he's going to do it. It's essentially a forced move. Bishop b3. So now the shoe is on the other foot. We were blockading before, but now we got to do it again. And I guess psychologically, you don't want to feel silly by putting it back. I get that completely. But it was probably the better option.
Just be like, oh, that didn't happen.
Probably the best option, but I see the cheese here,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of cheese myself. I love a smoky Gouda, but Mr. West here is feeling a little lactose intolerant in this game. Unfortunately, there's going to be no cheese for you, sir. So f4. Interesting decision. I don't even know where I would go from here because every move seems like it does something bad for me. Like this, maybe this isn't a very good move, but no, it's not. It's not because of that. I would see this coming, and I definitely would not find this tactic. I'll put it that way. Oh, excuse me. Apparently, I can't even find it now. Here, we have to add a rook, and then it becomes possible. But the soup thickens. Check it out.
Yeah. Wow.
Gross. So, in a perfect world, with your chess goggles on, you find that. I didn't even find it sitting here. I'm going over the dang game, so don't expect anybody to find it. But what do you do here? F4, fine. My only issue would be opening the king up, but we have to actually move pieces in the game. Concessions must be made, yes? I mean, what do you think about this position, Matthew?
Oh man, I think I'm just gonna be offering draws like you were saying. Um,
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I mean, yeah, Logan's bishops are pointing down at our king. We've got this pawn that can't move right now. It's blockaded by the queen.
yeah.
Um, yeah, we need a couple more moves, right? To kind of get stabilized. Our rooks aren't connected. We're all sitting except for our bishop, kind of just on the back rank. So just feeling a little bit uneasy at the moment.
This is like France has just fallen, and Darryl West is Winston Churchill right now because he's going to say, we will fight him on the beaches. We will fight him on the landing grounds. He will never surrender. He's going to move his king. Despite the terrifying threats, he will continue. He will push on, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this looks devastating. My least favorite kind of potato, a devastator. This is devastating. A5. All of a sudden, a light shines through. Now, it is I who have the pretty bishops. What say you? What say you? Well, check out how this game blows apart. Uh, Interesting idea here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Queen h5. But you know, I think this is delightfully devilish, and I respect it. The queen goes to g6. Very logical. He's got all this eyed up, lined up. He's got eyes on all of that, right? But we have tactics, my friends. And whenever there's a check, this is an unwritten rule of chess. Whenever there's a check, you have to give it. At least that's how some people play. That's how I play sometimes. Especially a discovered check. It's like on son, it's forced. But d6, king h7. All of a sudden, Mr. West in the driver's seat, making threats, getting things done, saying, I'm going to trade. I'm going to get rid of your good bishop. I don't care that you like your bishop. I don't like your bishop. Go away. The queen is centralized and active. And yeah, this guy is a passer. But guess what? We're back in this game. We're back in this game. This is incredible. Very, very cheesy tactic. Very cheesy. The cheesiest.
I logged into Chess like right when this happened. I saw the engine recommendation and I was like, oh man, if anybody's gonna find this, it's Darryl, right?
Dude, just
What?
as it says in Revelations, it is not easy being cheesy. So,
What do we do, Chase? We sack the
the whole game.
queen.
No, we sack the whole game. I would sack the whole game here and panic. I would play this. And it would be this every time.
Yeah.
That's what I would play, which is why I would lose. But Mr. West, Mr. Churchill, with his 19 bottles of champagne before noon, he's on another level. Queen takes a8. Double, triple, quadruple.
Incredible.
Dodeca, exclam.
Great move.
It's incredible. You got to take that, man.
Oh man. And just yeah. Yeah. Even I could maybe bring this home. This is beautiful.
Yeah, that's on another level.
And the engine's saying 1.3. I think on a stronger depth, this is much more than 1.3. This is
1.8 for me.
yeah, it's more than that even.
And once the queen goes back, we're 2 pawns up. 2 pawns up. Um, how to continue here? It's just the most, first of all, the most wonderful time of the year. But second of all, the most wonderful thing to continue on in a game like this. All those moves just feel like honey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, defend the pawn again and get those rooks to the center. This is beautiful. H4, do we care? Rook D6. Now, we say, I'm going to take some space. And while we're at it, I'm going to double up. I don't need your permission. I'm going to do it. Pawn takes. Not a care in the world. Not a single care in the world. Look at this dude. I mean,
Gangster.
E3, hoping, praying, check. Check. Winning the queen, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Gimme. And for some reason, we have more moves. Praying, hoping. I don't know what for, but I get it.
I get it too. Yeah, you've just been, you were just walking, strolling in the park, and you just got mugged. And you're just still wondering what the heck is going on. And just kind of trying to, catch your breath almost. It just happened so quick. It's like, what happened?
It's like the homeless guy that tried to fight me in the park last weekend, which actually happened.
It actually happened. Yeah.
It actually that's a real thing. But it's exactly like that. He came out of nowhere, swung on me and left.
Yeah.
And then the library staff came and everything was fine. Here's our library staff, and everything's fine. We can prevent anything and everything, and
so just kind of
and we just
cruise this, right? Cruise through it. Just take everything, walk the pawns up, get your ladder checkmate going. Great game.
Dude.
Great tournament. Congrats,
Those
Darryl.
2 players, phenomenal.
Amazing game.
Every player we saw today, phenomenal.
Yeah, just great chess, everybody. Thanks to,
especially if you made it this far, you're great.
Yeah, and thanks to Dan and Jason and everybody, setting up the DGT boards, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun covering all this stuff with you, Chase, too. I mean, you're a magician with the keyboard here and guiding us through these games. It's been a lot of fun just kind of riding your coattails here.
A magician.
This is what you do for a living, though, right?
It is.
Okay, so yeah. See, I just sit at the computer doing software stuff, so that's why
I just have fun every day, all day.
It's
And sometimes people, sometimes out of 40, there's 3 students that care, and that's when my day is just solid.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, thanks, Chase, and
of course.
Awesome games. Good job, everyone. Congrats again to Darryl. And check out Concha Chess channel. Subscribe, all that stuff.
I need you to subscribe.
And we'll see you guys for the next one. I think we're gonna be online Tuesday evening for the pie in the face, an actual pie in the face.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, everybody. We'll wrap it up, and you all have a good evening, day, wherever you are in the big wide world.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. Bye.